Anyone who has spent time on the internet knows the feeling of spending a lot more time on the damned internet than you planned. If it was faster and could send video and sound, it might just have a hope of turning from an occasionally useful but often frustrating tool into something really big. It's a question also concentrating the minds of the world's most powerful high-tech and media corporations. They are now locked in a struggle to find the technology to make the internet really take off as a mass-market phenomenon. The solution may come not from telephone companies and their wires underground, but from out there in space. But the price of this technology may be revolution on the internet, turning it into the very thing it was supposed to replace: television.
The great thing about satellite is that a single transponder on a satellite thousands of miles up in the sky can cover 300 million people. Hiring one of those transponders probably costs £3, £4, £5 million a year, and with that one investment you can suddenly reach every single home in North America or in Europe. That compares very favourably against putting wires in the ground or optical fibre in the ground across a whole country.
There is one fast internet service using satellites already on sale in the UK. It comes from a subsidiary of US aerospace giant Hughes.
DirectPC is a satellite data delivery service which allows us to deliver large quantities of data directly onto the PC of the subscriber. And for Turbo Internet, the subscriber will dial into the internet in the normal way through their normal internet service provider, and all of the packages that come back from the internet will be routed to him via the satellite link.
The real advantage of DirectPC comes when downloading information that is very, very large and rich in content. For example, multimedia type information, high quality video images, and streaming sort of applications like video and audio.
Hey man, what's up? This is Terrell, and welcome to the Point Blank Records webpage.
The antenna we use is an elliptical antenna, and it's about 89 centimeters by 49 centimeters. And it's about equivalent to a standard television receive-only antenna.
The price of the hardware and software is around about £1,000 for an individual kit. And then we're charging on a subscription basis, and we're charging the subscriber £15 a month, and that includes the first 30 megabytes of download from the internet.
It's insane. What happens is that you pay a very reasonable monthly rental, but you're only allowed to receive a certain amount of data. Thereafter, you pay for every piece of data you download. Now that's fine if you don't do much web surfing, but if you don't do much web surfing, what on earth are you doing getting a 60 centimetre satellite dish and paying £1,000 to have it installed? Why not just use a modem? And if you do a lot of web surfing, you're going to watch those bills skyrocket.
If that sounds insane, a US startup backed by Bill Gates plans to launch more than 800 low Earth orbiting satellites to reach every part of the globe. Of course, so far the company hasn't launched any, and the scheme currently seems more like pie in the sky. A cheaper, more practical solution to getting fast internet access may come from under the ground after all. In this down-to-earth street in Basildon, Essex, there's one of the first homes in the UK to get internet access via cable television. Cable company Telewest is testing a new modem technology that could provide fast access for about £25 a month.
The real excitement for us is the cable modem access technology that exists today, otherwise known as broadband internet access.
This is a cable modem. Looks very similar to a normal modem. However, the main difference is it plugs into the cable line, and as a result, the point of access for it is slightly different.
The signal goes through a coaxial cable into the home, which has a lot more capacity than today's telephone line.
With normal modems, you have to dial them up, you have to click on it and it has to go online. With cable modems, they're there all the time. You don't have to get involved with that type of thing. It's got constant access.
That means that an information provider doesn't have to rely on you coming to their website to get their content. They can send it to you. It's much more like a television model, and it means that in the future you'd be able to subscribe to a website, and the website would be able to send that information into your house in a way that you're much more familiar with.
So convinced is Microsoft that the net will become more like television, Bill Gates says he's prepared to sink $1 billion into internet content. Already the Microsoft network, relaunched this month as a vast website, is divided into 6 channels, including news and lifestyle, youth and children's, just like cable TV.
One of the things we'd really like to do with MSN is create a kind of sense of event online. Television does this brilliantly. And the way you do that is scheduled to people. So content on MSN will be scheduled. It has various refresh rates. Sometimes it changes daily, once every week, once every 2 weeks, and at a very specific time. So we want to create a sense of being in a place to watch something that doesn't exist forever and will go away. And I think that's a new kind of idea for online. We have a program called Movies and Shakers, which is a great program about movies and the people who make movies and the people who love movies. It starts with a title sequence with music rather than a home page. And it's very much more like a show. It has a high production value, it's got lots of sound, it has interviews with people. So it's a very different kind of thing and completely different from a typical website.
If any company is in a position to exploit these developments, it's Sky B. Sky is secretive about its plans, but is expected to transmit the internet direct to television sets when it switches from analogue to digital broadcasting. This could fuel the same consumer growth in the internet as it has in satellite television. But could it lead to the same market domination?
Clearly Sky have some very strong marketing strengths. We think they're going to be very helpful in driving primary demands for internet access, particularly broadband internet access.
They're going to have digital satellites which can transmit internet services. They're very good at renting out expensive set-top boxes to ordinary consumers, and they've got a lot of content.
The technologies Sky, Hughes and Telewest use to provide faster internet access are different, but these corporate heavyweights have one thing in common. They will all send information much faster to you than you can send it back. In other words, the internet will no longer be a democratic network. It will become a broadcast medium.
There's been quite a big debate about what it is really that the user actually wants. We feel that the majority of users do not want to provide a substantial amount of information to the internet. They really want to get information back from the internet.
There is a cultural shift. The internet and lots of the founders of the internet and people who've been using it for many years will remember that the big strength about it was that we were all equally interconnected, and if I was an information taker, an information consumer, I could also be an information producer. Big media companies are getting onto the internet and they know how to produce information and they want to send it to us. I mean, that's what we do when we sit at home and we receive television, we receive newspapers, we receive radio. And the internet can be somewhat different from that, but there's no reason why it should be totally different.